I saw Christmas Day 2013, and my New York Knicks are losing again. I mean, what the sketchy with these kids, you know what I'm saying? But yo, Carmelo was out, he hurt, so I'm not as mad at her as I usually would be, but then the God no. I mean, what do you expect? But yo, it's time for another episode of SMS. Yo, everybody loves Christmas Day NBA games, but not when your team is losing at home. But yo, anyway, another episode of SMS is on deck. Asa. So I wrote this lesson last night, the script to it, because a lot of people think that they have to get right before they make the decision to come to Christ. I mean, they are under some satanic, deceptive impression that they can't just come to God as they are. I mean, they think that if you're a meth head, you smoke weed, cigarettes, blah, 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 this and that, you drinking and cursing, that you can't come to God until you stop doing all of that. And that's not true. I mean, God cares that you're abusing your body, but he knows what type of condition you're in, and he's not going to hold that against you. He cares about is you coming to him, you know what I mean? That's the only thing he's concerned with. And anybody that believes different is believing a bunch of BS, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a living testimony to this, but don't go by what I say, go by these scriptures that I present to you. The living word of God, yo. So for everyone who believes you can't come to Jesus Christ if you're a crackhead, gangbanger, thug, cursing, drinking, killing, you're about to suck my scriptures. Okay, I'm going to go into the book of Matthew, 11th chapter, 28th verse. These are the words of the Son. What else, son? Jesus says, "Come to me, all of you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Now, if you're a person that's heavy laden with an addiction of crack, meth, or whatever, that addiction, it's a heavy burden on you. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to get that monkey off of your back, and that monkey may be 200 pounds, or even 1,200 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So all that matters the size of your addiction, or the size of your problem, whether mental, physical, whatever. And an addiction or a sick fantasy or something, Jesus wants you to come to him for help in getting rid of that burden. Verse 29 says, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest in your souls." From your crack addictions, meth, pills, whatever, drinking, domestic dispute. Verse 29 connects to Psalm 32, verses 8 through 10. Those verses read, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will guide you with my eye." So basically, God is saying no matter what condition you're in, just come to him and he will help you out by guiding you in the right direction out of the mess you're in. If a person chooses not to come to Jesus, then that's a bad indication that they might be destined for hell. You know what I'm saying? And if they're destined for hell, that means they weren't predestined. They're not one of God's children. He didn't choose them. And I could back this up and go to John chapter 6 verse 37. Jesus says, all that the Father gives me will come to me, and the one who comes to me I will by no means cast out. Then in John 6:44 through 45, he says, no one can come to me unless, no one can come to Jesus unless the Father who sent me draws them to me. So you cannot become a Christian. I don't care how many good deeds you do. I don't care if you're a 90-year-old lady that never heard a fly in her entire life. You still can't come to Jesus and into heaven unless you're drawn to him. If you're not drawn to Jesus, you're not going to give a damn about Jesus. You know, I see mad people out in society that will give you the shirt off their back. Needless to say, some of them may enter hell one day. Why? I do not know. It's the Father's will. And it's because they're not serving Christ in their heart. It wasn't destined for them to. Why would God do that? I do not. I got a lot of questions to ask him when I get up there, if he allows me to. You know what I'm saying? Like, why'd you kill that little 2-year-old? What did it do? It's his will. Never question his will. But anyway, once again, let me nail this mad big spike into your brain. No one will enter heaven unless they were chosen by God. Go to John chapter 6, verses 63 through 65. It reads, "It is the Spirit who gives life. The flesh profits nothing. The words I speak to you are spirit and life, but there are some of you who do not believe." For Jesus knew from the beginning who would betray him. Therefore, I have said to you that no one, quote fingers again, no one can come to me unless it's granted to him by my Father. So no one can become saved unless it was granted. And Jesus already knows those that are going to be saved and those that are not. He already knows. We don't know. We can look at somebody and be like, he's not a Christian because he drinks. I drink vodka. I never get drunk, but I still drink. I still curse a little bit. So there's people that look at me like, he's not a Christian. How the hell do they know what's in my heart, though? They can't see my heart. So they judge me by my exterior. But the Father looks at my heart. I wouldn't even be saying anything about, I wouldn't care about Jesus and God had they not been drawing me to them. Who else would care about God? Unless that person is being drawn to God. Even those that are using the scriptures for deceptiveness are being drawn to God because that's God's will all along. It's all his will. Judas was drawn, all that was set up by the OG, by God, the original God. Everything was set up by God. Judas was chosen to betray Jesus. Somebody had to do it. So the Father chose that unlucky bastard. Okay. Let me see. Go to Jeremiah 24:17. "And I will give them a heart to know me that I am the Lord, for they shall return upon me, shall return unto me with their whole heart." Notice, God didn't say he would get you off meth or crack or booze or whatever first before you come to him. He specifically said he will give us a new heart. That new heart that he gives us is what's going to make us not want to do meth, crack, drink, and none of that stuff right there. And it's a process because I've been serving God for a minute now, a couple of years, and I still drink, although not to excess. Just a little buzz, you know what I'm saying? He took me off cigarettes and stuff. But that new heart that he gives you is what's going to make you want to quit, you know what I'm saying? Although he can't just snap his fingers and you'll stop wanting to do crack immediately, whatever, but sometimes he doesn't choose it like that. And the same could be said for Newports, Marlboros, and anything else that's destructive to your body or whatever. And it's destructive to your spiritual walk. And the Son, what up again, son, gave us this example. I mean, the first time he came down here, he gave us this example. Go to Matthew chapter 11, verse 19. Now, there's a couple versions I'm going to read from, or two actually. The KJV reads, "The Son of Man, Jesus, came eating and drinking, and they said, Behold, a man gluttonous and a wine drinker, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of her children." And the NIV, the New International Version, reads, the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, here is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is proved right by her deed. In other words, Jesus' holy actions speak louder than his holy words to some people. Well, maybe not. And for those that don't know, back in those days, tax collectors were the scum of the earth. They were just like bill collectors out of day, taking our money, which we owe anyway, but you know, a lot of us still can't afford. But tax collectors were considered scum and vermin back then. You know what I'm saying? No one wanted to see a tax collector. You know what I'm saying? So today, if Jesus was down here in the flesh right now, guess where he would be at? He wouldn't be in a church with the high and the holy mighty and this and that. He would be out there in those streets, in the hoods, in the PJs, in the ghettos, in the trailer parks, in the hospitals with the sick and the shut-in. People, that's where he would be at. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't be sitting inside of a church where half of the people are going to hell anyway. Half of them are fake and they're judging you by your clothes. Oh, what is he doing here? His pants are sagging. What is he doing here? He has snapback on. What is he doing here? He sells drugs and judge you by what you wear. Oh, he doesn't have a suit on and this and that. And it's just a mess. You know what I'm saying? I detest most churches. You know what I'm saying? Not most of the people in there, because I can't see those most people's hides. But this, the institution, the whole idea of church these days, it disgusts me. You know what I'm saying? Let's have church out there in the streets. Let's everybody gather in a field and worship God like that. Not inside of a building where you got to dress a certain way to be accepted, and a plate is passed around every 5 minutes, and you're expected to put some money in there, which you only work at McDonald's, getting $7.25 an hour here in New York State. So how the hell can you afford to give away anything? You're barely surviving. But they want to pass around a plate 3 or 4 times every morning and expect you to at least put $1 in there. It's ludicrous. But for those of you who are hesitant about coming to God just as you are, whether you smoke Newports or whatever, go to Mark chapter 2, verse 16 and 17. Verses 16 and 17. And when the scribes and the Pharisees, those were the religious leaders of that day, that's what they were called. When the scribes and the Pharisees saw Jesus eat with tax collectors and sinners, they said unto Jesus' disciples, how is it that he eateth and drinketh with tax collectors and sinners? In today's terms, it would be, why in the hell is he eating with those thugs and gangbangers? He's supposed to be a preacher. He's supposed to be a holy man. What is he doing sitting over there with the Crips? Why is he with those Bloods over there? Or why is he with MS-13? Or why is he with whatever? You know what I'm saying? Just trying to relate. And that scripture, those verses continue. And Jesus overheard them and replied, they that are whole have no need of a physician or doctor. But these drug dealers and crackheads and meth heads and pill poppers are sick. And they do need somebody. That's why I'm over here with them. I came not to call the righteous, but the sinners to repentance. So now, in the words of the late, great Kurt Cobain,